Hey everybody, welcome to another video from Blue Summit Designs. What I'm doing here is a little bookmark, a little giraffe bookmark, and what I'm doing here is a technique called stippling, if you're not familiar with that on the nose. Stippling is basically just a lot of little dots, lots of little dots. There's my can of air. One of your best friends when you're scratchboarding. You want to keep your board free of debris after you scraping it off. I'm using a number 10 X-Acto blade if you're curious of the blade I'm using. Generally I use the number 10 and number 11 blades, and I'm sorry, I'm using number 11 blade here. Number 11 blade on the nose. In fact, pretty much the whole giraffe is what I use that on. So doing some stippling here. Then you'll see me just pretty much the rest of the giraffe is basically just regular scratches after this. Small to medium scratches. Just depends on the piece. Depends on the subject, what you're doing, what type of scratches that it calls for. So that's what this is here. And you'll see me color it later. I'm using just some permanent pens on this little piece. I generally use a brush and inks. Pretty much you're going to see me mostly use that. But today I decided to use pens on this little piece. So you get to see that here in a minute. So enjoy a little scratching here, and we'll come back in here in a minute on the coloring part. And we're back. So what I'm doing now is coloring the kaolin clay. Remember again, scratch board is that kaolin clay that's been covered in India ink. And what I'm doing now is adding color to it to bring that piece to life. And some pieces look really good black and white. So by all means, if you decide, a piece looks really good to you in that black and white form, well then leave it. I just choose to color mine. Most of my pieces I choose to color. what I'm doing here on these little pieces, I tend to use these permanent ink pens. They're easier to deal with, I find. So that's what I'm doing, adding the ink, and then you're seeing me re-scratch it. That's adding highlights. Very important that you add highlights, you re-scratch afterwards. Makes all the difference in the world when it comes to scratchboard. How about that little patch of Africa there? I did not mean to do that, but isn't that cool? On African animal, the giraffe. So yeah, it's a process, as you're seeing, scratchboard, even on a little piece like this. But such a fun process of just bringing a little piece to life. And I think I'm going to do a lot more of these little bookmarks. It was fun. I've wanted to do these for a while now, and I thought, what better animal than to do a giraffe on a bookmark. So scratching, it is very important that you scratch in the right direction. You have to think about anatomically, and this is where a good reference photo comes into play, comes into the picture. No pun intended. But yeah, study even beforehand you do a picture and see which direction the hair lays on an animal, to make sure your scratches lay in the proper direction. It's very important. Beginners in scratchboard, or really any medium, that can get you in trouble. You just, as kids it works, just color and staying in the lines, right? But as you mature and become a better artist, you start looking at things like that. That's very important. Lighting, all that type of stuff. So when you're doing wildlife, it's very important to look at how the feathers lay, the scales lay, the fur lays, and especially scratchboard, because once you scratch it, you're done. It's there. It's hard to fix. And then here's the signature. Last but not least, that ugly signature. Thanks for joining me, guys, today. I hope this was somewhat fun and educational, and I look forward to doing another one. Come back next time.